What is up, chess friends? Here on lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall with our macro Ponda. Not to be confused with Ponda, the original Ponda. Welcome, Merle Dixon, Asterbait, Mr. Coffee, our moderator. Thanks, guys, for joining me. We're doing game analysis today. It's been a very, very busy time for me. I am exhausted. Yesterday I did 20,000 on the step meter on my phone, all around my house. I've emptied out my house over the last day and a half. Massive stuff, player piano. It's just crazy. Like we cleaned out our whole entire house in a day and a half. Massive amount of work. It's been absolutely crazy. And I'm trying to sell the house, and I've had lots of dealings with people and just a lot going on. So it's nice to be able to relax, do a little bit of chess, and stay active with the stream, because the rest of my day is really anything but chess lately. So welcome to the stream. We've got Jim Warnacki, Merle Dixon leading the way in bits. HTFP as well. It seems like it's early in the week, but it's already Thursday for me. It's very strange. It feels like we just had our Sunday simul, but it's literally Thursday. We have Monday and Tuesday streams. This is our third stream this week. Everybody check out my eBay. We've sold a couple new items. Or at least I had some bids on some new items. Not that much on there. I have about 10 items on my eBay. Currently, I'd like to put up more, but I have no time. But anyway, guys, we're here to focus on chess. We're doing game analysis. It's subscribers Thursday. Subscriber game analysis we do every Thursday. I get submissions from the subscribers. So right now you're going to see back here, 2 pages back on the list, Asterbait is our first submission for this week. Thank you, Mr. Coffee. Juicebox Wizard. Somebody get that man a sub. No, that's what other streamers do. I don't order people to hand out gift subs. Purely optional. Good to see Juicebox Wizard, though. We got Thursday game submission from Asterbait. Not English opening, English defense. For the time being, there are no streams on Wednesdays, correct. Thank God I have a day off. Actually, 2 days off, but I need it. Under a lot of stress. So chess is becoming like a hobby compared to trying to sell my house. Cross your fingers. Maybe we'll get a decent offer before I go to the realtor on Monday. I'm going to try to list the house on Monday. We got 2 prospective buyers without going to the realtor. One of them is coming kind of low, so we'll see. But anyway, we'll do what we have to do, guys. And when I sell my house, I'm going to move back to Hungary, and the stream will go back to my old schedule, but that's still in the future. English defense, d4, b6, c4, bishop b7. Let's check this out. Welcome to my stream, guys. We're streaming till 8. I've got a lesson. Don't forget to remind me. Usually I ask Jim when he's here. But now there he is now. I have my lesson, my sometimes every other week lesson after the stream, which is really tough on me. I've got a lesson after the stream at 8:15 Eastern time. That's as late as I can go with my current schedule. So it's Asterbait playing here with the black pieces, correct? Correct. Yeah. d4, b6. Everything changed, but Mubat is still Mubat. Well, everything changed in terms of, you mean the format of, or the look of Twitch? I'm not big on changes, you know. We get old and unless we like changes. But you gotta be flexible. That's my theory anyway. I'm living with it. You know, I don't like the way it looks, but it looks weird. The Twitch look. But all right, we'll get used to it. d4, b6. So I told Asterbait I really like c4, b6. He's playing b6 anyway against everything. d4, b6, c4. So this technically, when white doesn't play e4 and adds the c4, this takes us into the English defense. Now, bishop b7. Speaking of being flexible, once I lost to Alexander Ivanov, who's a friend of mine, I don't remember exactly how our game went, but I was white in an English defense against Alex, and he beat me by playing bishop a6 in one move. There was one variation where that actually happens. I believe it was where like I played d5 or something fairly early. So there are occasional, very rare circumstances where black might play bishop a6. Not here, not here. This is stupid. Maybe Yabatas tried that or something. Somebody I remember mentioning that, but no. Bishop b7 or e6 is really what we're debating here. Warnaki subscribed to tier 1. Thanks. Yeah, the English defense, lovely. I mean, is e6 more flexible than bishop b7? That's kind of a question. Because you might play bishop a6 or you might play e5. You know, so either way you go, you're kind of giving up some options. Bishop b7, knight c3. Okay, so here, knight f6 you might want to play rather than e6. But the main line of the English defense, I mean, if you play knight f6 here, we're in trouble, right? It's like a bad... If you play knight f6, then white plays d5. Yeah, I think knight f6, d5 is just strong for white. But Jim should know this a little bit. Knight f6, look at the score. Much better for white than anything else. I mean, g6 is just a straight up hippo. Too early to play g6. I like to play g6 after a3. You know, e6. And then if a3, then you play g6. That's my game with Onishuk, the highest rated player I've ever beaten. He was like 2650 FIDE when I beat him. But the theory is that a3 is a useless move. I mean, essentially. If white's going to play a useless move, then hippo gains a little bit. You know, you're basically a move up. But the main line is actually f5. I mean, which I've played also very, very risky. HCFP will be back in 20-30 minutes. Okay. Don't hurt yourself. So, look both ways crossing the street. Don't forget. But f5 is like old school English defense. I've lost this way too. The English defense is a risky opening. I mean, it's not meant to like be solid or something. This is something I was crazy to play this against good players, but it was my repertoire at the time. And I've lost games with white. I've played the white side of this, you know. Anyway, all right, let's see what happens. So e4, yeah, and now this position is another line where I played both colors as well. Bishop b4, and black's just simply threatening the pawn at e4. So now at this point, what we're looking at is normally bishop d3, but there's also queen c2. Oh, f3. So you got 3 lines, yeah. 3 variations. F3 is like a main line. I guess F3 is the most respected move for white. My last game with F3 was played in like 2005. I was black against International Master Yuri Lapshin, and it was funny because like we're both playing under the American flag, and we played in Hungary against each other. This is like a long time ago. I guess 2005. Lapshin, Paschall, F5, E takes F5, like F3. F5, e takes F5, knight H6, which is a known line. But here he plays knight F3. This isn't even a move. It's interesting. The computer says queen C2 is the best move, and I never had the easiest time meeting this, actually. Queen H4, Bishop D3. This is my game with Weedmaster, where I was white. My first win against the Weedmaster with the white pieces could have been a transposition to this position. F5. Bishop takes F3. It's coming up. Knight F3. Against Weedmaster, I played King F1 here, and I thought it was a novelty. Like, this was me versus Joe. He's outside, actually. Maybe he's watching. Weedmaster, remember this position when you lost to me? International Master Joe. I thought I was like a genius, like to invent King F1, but I think this had already been played in a game, probably. Look here. No, there's nothing there. Now, my game with Joe was actually like way before that. It was probably like mid-90s. So it was probably around like 1996. Maybe even earlier. My one with white against Joey. But Joe, don't remember how it went. Like queen h5, b takes c, knight f6 or something. I don't know what he did, but it wasn't good. He got crushed. Anyways, like, this is a long story, but white should try the queen c2 or, you know, f3. This is knight f3. It's just losing a pawn. You know, this. Weedmaster's here with us. He's here. He's outside on the patio. He brought his book on the hippopotamus. There's some big book about the hippopotamus opening or something. You know, like it's really an opening. It's more like a formation rather than opening. But there's some Italian master or somebody who Joe's got the book called the hippopotamus opening. You know, it's like a huge 300-page book about some analysis. But I mean, again, I think the hippopotamus is more of a formation than an opening itself. It's weird. A book about the whale is possible. We could do an environmental series. I mean, I don't know. Animal lovers. Brian Wall would like that. Different animals. The animals of the chess world. Like a children's book series. Bishop takes e4, bishop d2. I mean, this is just lame. You know, white is just down a pawn for nothing here. Bishop e7, d5. This is also stupid. Totally not constructive. Black already has a path for the knight to a6 and c5. d5 doesn't help. This is not good. Yeah, it just lost a piece. Queen a4 check. Let me turn the engine off. We don't need that. But sadly, I don't know at what point you start to learn not to do this. Your priority should be kingside development anyway here, Acerbate. It's your kingside that's your king that's most important. Hopefully we have sound. Oof.
Well, yes.
This is bad. You know, dropping a piece. I don't see the purpose of d6 being necessary here. I mean, like, you got a good knight maneuver. Just play knight f6 or even knight e7, whatever. As long as you get your king to a safe place. There's really no urgency with d6. He just drops a piece to queen a4 check. That was sad. Both sides missed it. Now he's like, oh, okay. And then e5. Good. So white should give a shot for trying to play b4 c5 as quick as possible. Try to break up black's pawn chain. This is irrelevant. Let's speed through this. Knight f6 again here. I think I like knight e7 maybe better. We don't really want to get in the way of our pawns. I mean, these are 4 pawns. They can be used like aggressively, I think. You know, for black here, pushing up f5. You don't want to interfere. The piece and pawn coordination that you see in my favorite book, Modern Chess Opening Theory, chapter devoted to that concept. When you play knight f6 in front of your pawn, it's a little awkward. Yeah, this is like, guys, wasting time. Exactly, knight c2. I mean, knight e4. If he had played queen c2, you know, at least he would stop that and call the question to that knight on f6, blocking the pawns. This is a good move. Reserve you a spot in the queue. I'll submit shortly. Okay. Make sure to submit your submission in British English only. So knight on d to c5. Reserve a spot in the queue for me. My English accent is terrible. I can't do it. I used to do it when I was drunk, and I would try to pick up girls in the bar or something, but that was 20 years ago. And it's easier to do stuff like that when you're drunk. Doesn't mean you do it well, but all right. Anyway, don't need to know about that. Knight takes e4, queen c2, f5. See what he did? He got the pieces and pawns coordinating. Sounded like a Norwegian speaking British. Yeah, probably. British imitation of a Norwegian imitation of British English sounds just about right. Queen c2, f5, but we got this thing working. You know, Acerbate cleared out the problem. How many times has this player moved his dark square bishop? Wow, brave. Acerbate busting the head of the pawn chain there. That's kind of risky for black. cagey and a little risky. You know, we've talked a million times about this, like bishop back to c8. It's the Queen's Indian. When you play this, you create a little bit more like imbalance in the position because you're going to have a backward pawn along the d file. You know, I would even say like you're kind of creating some counterplay for the opponent by playing c6. What's up, Dempsey Hooligan? You know, so you got to ask yourself this question: like, is it worth it to create any sort of counterplay for my opponent when I'm up a clear pawn, or is it better to do just something like a5, bishop c8, bishop d7, queen e8, queen h5? Don't touch the pawn structure and just checkmate the guy on the king side. When you play this move, Asterbate, you're opening up a new can of worms, as they say, where white's going to maybe have some potential counterplay along the file. Let's see. Oh my God. No, we're not even going to talk about Donald Trump today. Let's just hope it all ends soon. Just not going to do that today. It's all I heard all day on TV. I'm not going to start commentating on politics. I hope that it's over soon, is all I can say. All right, but I just saw the make your opponent great again. This is insane. I mean, g3, it's like, please help me on h3. Oh my God, this is just suicide, complete suicide. You just opened the long, I mean, you basically just opened your bishop on the long diagonal with c6, and the guy voluntarily played g3. I mean, now, what I'm talking about has to be, what I'm talking about is this. You know, that's the classic sort of closed Sicilian Grand Prix attack, Dutch defense type of thing with the queen getting down there. How can I get to the mating square on g2? Looks nasty. Rufus and Doofus. Guys, thanks to all of you who submitted bits for donation. But anyways, okay, so rook c8. It's not a bad move, but you're not going for the king there. You should go for the king. Go for the kill. And f4. I don't mind f4. I mean, it could be more access to the white squares. This has been a long analysis. Oops. Yeah. Anyway, let's put this guy out of his misery. Bishop e3, queen g4, check. Nice. And double checkmate. Double checkmate. The double check is always the most powerful because there is no inner position against double check, right, guys? That's the art of the checkmate. The Art of the Checkmate by Renaud and Kahn from Dover Publishing. One of those old school chess books, which I used a lot for teaching kids, actually. Great book for teaching like school kids fundamentals of like tactics and stuff. Anonymous cheerer with 1,000 bits. Nice. They chose to remain anonymous with this donation. We respect that. Thank you so much, Anonymous cheerer, for making my tough day that much more happy. All right, knight takes f2 check. If Donald Trump gets impeached in the same week that I sell my house, it will certainly be a week to remember. But Anonymous cheerer helped it out even more with 1,000 bit donation. Thank you, sir, or ma'am. As it may be, we don't know because they're Anonymous cheerer. Anyway, knight takes f2 check. Game over. Let's take a look at the next game. We try to do 10 games or so. Alright. Uber driver. Wait, we're in the wrong place. I did not write down the list today. I mean, yesterday. I'm just going to go straight down the list. So, actually, we're going to wait on Save a Dog. Save a Dog, let me know when Save a Dog is back, because he kind of he needed to step away from the stream across the street or something. We're gonna hold off on his. Notch Papa, is Notch Papa a subscriber? I don't know if Notch Papa understood like it's just for subscribers, because he like did this was like Arsenal fans' enemy or whatever. Oh damn! Wait, this isn't from Notch Papa. Hold on a second. Wait. I don't understand what's going on here. Did Notch Papa submit this, or did an Arsenal fan submit it? Notch Papa actually submitted his game for the subscriber. He is a subscriber. Oh, he's here. Okay. All right, cool. Because I know that like Arsenal was complaining. I had to time him out for being angry. So Notch probably is a subscriber. Cool. So I know you're probably a Hungarian. It's not enough to be Hungarian. You have to be good too. That was like a Hollywood joke. In the movies, there were so many Hungarians in like the 50s or whatever that were involved in making movies and stuff. They had this joke. But anyway, all right, let's take a look. So he's actually the next one. That was something my wife told me. So Naj Papa, Big Daddy. Basically, it means Big Daddy in Hungarian. So Big Daddy is black here against Arsenal fan. Let's see. So we got the French defense. D4, D5, knight D2, knight F6, E5, knight FD7, bishop D3, C5, C3, knight C6, knight E2, queen B6. Okay, so this is like the main line of the French Tarrasch. Except, okay, I don't play the black side at all, and I don't really know the white side that well, because I don't play E4 that often, and when I did, I usually played the white side of knight C3 lines, so is queen B6 the main move, or is it like CD followed by queen B6? Yeah, so CD is actually the main line, like CD4, CD4, and then queen B6, or F6 in fact. Okay, so it's like F6, then there's knight F4, or there's E takes F6. So these two major branches here, knight F4 being less common. Naj Papa, one of my teammates, a Hungarian guy, had a game in this line. Like he's like 2,000 over the board. Last year for our Budapest Team Championship game, had a very interesting game. In our season last year, where I think his opponent played knight F4. This variation. I'm talking like Canadian again. Eh? I think he played knight F4, eh? That's bad too. I can't even do a Canadian accent right. Okay, but Notch Papa went with queen b6 right away. It'll probably transpose to like CD, CD, queen b6, I guess. You know, there's really nothing else to have happen here. And that's probably what we're going to see. Oh no. Well, Notch Papa just came up with a slightly unorthodox move, a5. I'd seen games where people would play a5. I remember this guy that he's like forgotten now, Grandmaster, who immigrated here from somewhere. Gabriel. He hasn't played chess in like 15 years. Gabriel something. Now I can't remember, but anyway, he was a French player. He used to play like a5. But I don't know, do you want your queen on b6 or not? This is interesting. So you have to ask Mule Skinner. Is Mule Skinner here today? Because he's one of our regulars who plays. Ramator, you're welcome. I try to be a fun chess educator. So we do have some players in the stream. Mule Skinner is the first one that comes to mind who plays the French. Merle, do you play the French? a5 very, very rare. So this is main line. You know, take, and then you go about your business with f6 or whatever. And then takes, typically. And then knight takes f6. You know, interesting thing about the move order is, if you were to play if you were to play CD first, right? Barayev used to play it this way, and then he would take with the queen on f6. So knight takes is more the main line, but Watson talks about this in his Play the French book, which I don't know when the last time he had that like updated was. John Watson, the American I Am, has done like several different, you know, over the years he's done like different editions of his kind of classic Play the French. And one edition from like 2000 or late 90s, I remember he kind of recommended this for black. So I don't know where it stands theoretically these days. So d takes c5, yeah, Uber Driver mentions that. I mean, that kind of thing where exactly, that's why he played a5. Notch Papa is kind of playing against that whole d takes c5 Nimzovich type of thing, giving up the center, but your pieces are getting attacked by b4. Oh, good that you point that out, Uber Driver. But I mean, you can see very few people have played a5, so it's obviously not really a common line. So let's see, a3. Well, I mean, no, both sides don't want to make unnecessary pawn moves. Interestingly, here, someone with white played h4, which is kind of a cool move. I mean, this is I think there's a school of thought that would say white might do a Joel Benjamin does in the advanced French, which would be like, if there's a check, we just move the king to f1, and we don't castle at all. And h4 is a way of sort of setting that up so you can efficiently allow a check on b4 without trading pieces and just play king f1 in some situation. So h4 I think is interesting. a3 just controls the b4 square. It's probably a decent move. Committal, and it weakens the structure a little bit. Uber Driver said rook h4. Well, that's a classic Caro-Kann idea, Uber Driver. In the classical Caro-Kann, h4, h5, followed by rook h4. Maybe you're confusing with the Caro-Kann, but I believe you it's possible. It could happen in the French, sure. a4 castles, f6. My gut instinct is that Black spent a lot of time on a4, but then again, white also wasted the tempo on a3. So far, it looks good for white. I would say Black's got some issues here. The queen might be able to defend laterally from b6, but I'm a little bit scared because white has knight f4, white has knight g5, white has queen e2. There's a lot of ways to build up against e6. Typically, another thing about queen c7 for Notch Papa is that queen d6 for Notch Papa, a lot of times the queen goes to c7 to try to kind of fight for the e5 square. I'm concerned about Black not having enough control of e5. So he does, you know, bishop e6. I mean, this is close to a standard-ish position, but there's this a4, which does seem to have taken up a lot of time. It feels like white is sort of fast here. Maybe white should play queen e2. He played rook e1, but queen e2 is a tough call, though. If you play queen e2, you take away protection of d4. But if you play rook e1, you take away protection of f2. So that's the trick, you know. Anything you do like this or this will have some sort of defensive drawback, maybe. Rook e1. Watch the f2 square. Watch the f file, because typically in the French Tarrasch, there'll be an exchange sacrifice on f3 or something. So he takes, and now we have the option to win a pawn. He does. You know, I mean, here, I mean, I would think, like, the first reaction would be for Notch Papa to just take it. A bad bishop for knight, you know, but we're just down a pawn with no compensation. We're just down a pawn with no compensation. I don't know. Is it Indian or Canadian? What am I doing? Rook e8. All right. Bishop f5. It's getting a bit awkward. So white just basically won a pawn, and it doesn't seem that Notch Papa has enough compensation. And this is awkward. You know, super awkward. So I think Arsenal fan is like better, almost winning. Knight g6. Are we protected? No. We just like blundered a piece or something. A pawn. But that's weird. Why doesn't Notch Papa take this? You think he would take here, right? And if bishop takes, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes, and queen takes e6. The smoke clears and black's fine. I think that black has two knights against bishop and knight in a position where he's got his pawns on the wrong, the right color. White's pawns are on the wrong color. This looks like a golden opportunity, actually. It was a golden opportunity for so the other move order is this, right? Rook takes, bishop takes h2 check. it doesn't really matter, right? It's like the same thing. It takes. So basically, Notch Papa could just get the same position. You know, he's good. But he doesn't. He played this, giving Arsenal fan another chance. And yeah, I mean, white should be better. White should be better. Knight g5. No, you should do knight g5. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a problem? Knight g5? We do have a little problem with the b2 pawn, right? But I mean, is there any problem here, for real? Well, there's a lot of moves like bishop e5. You could even try. It's a bit strange. What's the engine say? The other knight to g5. Wow. That's kind of scary, huh? Yeah, Notch Papa missed his chance. I mean, last move. Seriously. Yeah, he just equalizes easily. Bishop takes h2 check. So this was actually a huge mistake to play bishop d7. And Arsenal fan here just didn't do anything. In fact, he invited knight e4, which both sides missed. I'm going to turn off the engine. It's too enlightening. But this move clearly just really strong, you know. Basically, Arsenal fan was lucky several times already. He played bishop e5, queen f5, and then knight e7. He's still doing well, but I mean, why c2? Actually, there is no good square for the white queen. It looks like b1. You have to go to b1. That's awful, right? It's a difficult move. No, wait, it's saying queen c2 now. Oh, okay. Huh. I mean, I think the b1 would be safer. But you go c2 to d2. Is that the idea? r2, d2. Queen d1. Maybe d1 is where we want to be. Okay, whatever. Maybe it doesn't matter. But I mean, here I guess queen d1 rather than queen d2. Why do you want to get hit by knight e4? Like, both sides seem to be oblivious to knight e4. Which is weird. You know, he just walked right into it. You know, clearly, it's just an error. Okay, so knight g6, and I mean, still white is like a pawn up in this position. Knight f4, knight g5. Oh, goodness, what just happened? So he grabs that, grab that, grab that. What's up? Grab that. I mean, this is just winning for black, right? White resigns. All right. Well, both sides made a lot of mistakes there. It was not a perfect game, but I mean, I think that black really missed a golden opportunity, taking on e6 and equalizing, or even being slightly better when he could have taken on e6 before. Okay, well that clears that up. We're gonna move on. So we've got, yeah, but I think to sum up, I don't think that Notch Papa should play a5, and there's some questions about queen b6 versus f6 right away. You know, I would do some research into that. Looks like when you play f6 right away, you give yourself the option to play that other variation with queen f6. Like, I think that might be interesting to have both possibilities of knight takes f6 and queen takes f6 in that line. I'm not sure what they consider, like the experts consider best. Knight takes has always been kind of the main line with the queen back on d8. You know, and I think the queen goes to c7 typically in one move to control the e5 square. All right. I don't know if we're back, if Saber Dog is back, because he said he was going to be away. So we'll do one more game, waiting for him to come back. Oh no, Merle Dixon. You know I don't like it when people submit their games against me, especially if they won. We'll see what happens. I don't remember which one this is. All right. Merle and I have these thematic opening battles going on. This is a BOGO. Merle was white in a BOGO. I remember now. Okay. This is the line that, yeah, I didn't really know this, exactly what to do here. We haven't had this, really. This is like the first time. b4, knight f6, and we go into a Bogo Indian. I think like after I played, it was funny. After I played this game, Earl, I was saying to myself, I wonder why I didn't play the the Blumenfeld Gambit. I wanted to play the Blumenfeld, and as soon as I played Bishop b4 check, because I don't get many Blumenfelds, and I did a video on it a couple years ago, a while back, and it's fun to play the Blumenfeld, but I forget to play it because the Bogo and the Queen's Indian were always like kind of my solid repertoire. I know I did play it. I know, that's why I did play it last time, but you didn't allow it, which is the problem with the Blumenfeld. So Bishop d2, a5. I mean, that was a conscious decision on my part. Like, I was kind of like, duh, why didn't I play it this time? It would have been fun. c5, I move 3. All right, so a5, now knight c3. And you know who played this against me? I think I had this game with Alexander Goldin in the U.S. Championship in 2003. And it wasn't a good game for me. So I wasn't that well prepared for this. And I guess at the time I just sort of just whatever, you know. But I'm not sure. Is this right? Is this my game with Alexander Goldin? Was it a Nimzo that became? Yeah, now I'm thinking, was it a Nimzo that became similar to this? But how would I have played a5 if it was a Nimzo? That doesn't make sense. There's no way I would have played a5 if my game with Goldin was a Nimzo. a5 could only be played if it's a Bogo Indian. So this was U.S. Championship, Goldin against me, from like 2003, and I lost. I think it was even the first round in Seattle. First round, paired up, board 6 or something, and Alexander was in good form, golden form then. We played like 4 times. I think he has 2 wins and 2 draws against me. Good player. But anyway, here b6 is the main line. But Goldin played bishop g5, Merle. And this is the magic move that I wasn't well prepared for. And I still don't know if I'm well prepared for this. I've even tried it in some blitz games myself. Look at the statistics here. Dun, dun, dun. 47% for white after bishop g5. All the setups that black does well with against bishop g5 with b6, a5 messes it all up. I mean, it basically dawned on me, like when he played bishop g5, I was like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. Because everything that I like to do here with black, typically in these sort of setups, Kira's played this way with black, the famous game in a bishop g5 Nimzo. I mean, castling queenside goes out the window practically. You can forget about castling queenside because you played a5. You know, just a minor thing like that totally it just reduces black's options. Yeah, this is the move. But luckily Merle didn't find it. He played g3. And now we've just got this like sort of, you know, I don't know, anonymous gift. No. Just a kind of average looking Queen's Indian position now. I like to play bishop a6 anyway, Romanician style in the Bogo, and so I figured I'm going to go for this. Karpov Yusupov 1992. It's much more aggressive than playing bishop b7. Anonymous Cheerer strikes again. That's what I was trying to say, Anonymous Cheerer. So you see, like most people play bishop b7, but since I play this anyway in other lines, like the statistics are better. Look, it's like white almost never wins with bishop a6. It's sharper and stronger. I'm really gonna take this pawn, like it's not a joke. You're anonymous, by the way. Yeah, that's what everybody says. HTFP. We're not taking challenges today, guys, but several Yusupov games. That's cool. Well, anyway, I think this is solid for black. So b3. This is Karpov versus Yusupov. I just went back to b7. I don't remember the game. I was just going on instinct, Merle. Obviously, if I had this to do over again, I mean, I'd like to play something more aggressive than bishop b7. You know, I'm not surprised that d5. d5 is much stronger. I don't know what got into me, like bishop b7. I mean, bishop b7 is not bad. It's like a Queen's Indian. We might even transpose, actually, to a bishop a6 Queen's Indian, except for a5, which is kind of weird. Yeah, a5. Well, no, I like a5, but I just haven't been playing this style system lately much. So for some reason, it just felt safer to play bishop b7. This was a weird position here. I didn't know what to do. So I actually played a TN, it looks like, Queen e7. I don't think that Queen e7 is necessarily a bad move. I mean, obviously I have fantasies of like preventing a3, but you know what? It just occurred to me. It just occurred to me that like a3 is probably a move, because if bishop takes a3 here, there's like a3, bishop a3, rook a3, queen a3, knight b5. And I don't know what black's best move is there. I'm going to lose my rook and my right castling rights to knight c7 check. Like, seriously, you could actually do this. I think this is kind of cool. Knight b5. You're getting back your money. And getting your material back with interest, right? And castling rights devastated. So let's see what the engine says. Castles is the most common move. d5 is still playable. You know, d5 seems sort of weird. I haven't played my bishop back to b7. I don't really want to block it now. Yeah, so a3. You know, I like prevented a3. I thought I prevented a3, but I didn't. So Merle should just play a3. This is not such a useful move, queen e7. You know, there's just no one to say like the queen is great on e7. This is annoying. You know, I hate that. And the whole thing looked a little artificial, but it's still white. It's Merle. He's very solid. The cool thing about Merle is that can be a man's or a woman's name. I'm just kidding, guys. I just made that up. No, it's true. Merle is androgynous. But he's so solid, it's just ridiculous. I mean, at this point I started to become frustrated. I played a really aggressive move here, actually, c5. I've lost a couple games to Queen's Indian players who play knight a6 Queen's Indian, like Karpov. One of them is Oltan Medved, the Hungarian GM, and the other one was Oleg, what's his name? Grandmaster Chernyshov. I have a really bad score with white against the knight a6 Queen's Indian. And they've done this to me when I was white. Like Medved did, particularly like c5, and kind of carve out the c5 square for the knight. Alright, this guy's gonna get, he's gonna get like, can I block him or something? Arrow chess? It's just annoying, dude. If somebody declines your challenge, that means they don't want to play you, you know? It doesn't mean like you should challenge them again. Anyway, back to the game. So knight c3, flip the board. C5, and I realize that I have a lot of weaknesses in my queen side, so Merle's too strong for this. You know, you're hoping like d5, and white will overextend himself, but he'll never do that. You know, he just like sat there. e3, e5. I mean, the queen on f4 is a bit weird. But again, he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. I have more weaknesses on my queen side. That's kind of weird. So around this point, I just didn't know what to do. He's still keeping control of d3. And he's like tempting me to overextend myself with e4. So white's just ridiculously solid. Bishop back to b7 for the 6th time. And now I have this hole, you know, these holes in my position on a4 and b5, which I didn't really like. For those of you who don't know, I often suspect Uber driver and Merle Dixon of being the same person. That's why they're like joking with themselves. Knight a6, knight a4c. He just tortured me. I don't want to see this again. See this another challenge. What's with the weird challenges today? I never do challenges on Thursday. This is a really long game, guys. He just tortured me. And finally, I managed to force some exchanges, but I'm still worse. And so the whole game, Blobix, what's up? The whole game I was worse, and I'm also in time pressure. So I just tried to equalize, and I did. I think at this point I'm just about equal. Now he's got a knight coming in here, unfortunately, and I should have played king f8. I did. I don't know how I like fouled this up because I got into big trouble later on. I mean, basically, once I get my king to e7, I'm more or less okay. He started playing for this like protected pass pawn here. Yeah, this was probably a mistake. It looks like I could play knight e6 if I had been more alert. But I was really getting in time pressure, and eventually I make some errors. I mean, it looks like he's nearly winning. Knight e6, and this is very unfortunate. So now I'm just lucky if I didn't lose because the knights are all over me. Check here, check here. This is a disaster, my king on a6. Actually, why did I put my king on a6 again? I couldn't go here to c7. Well, I'm losing f7, right? So I need this counterplay with knight d4 to win his pawn on b3, and I guess my king is just as good on a6. I don't know. See right here, the computer's debating it. It's really close. I mean, white's winning, or clearly better in either variation. It's really hard to decide like where my king is better. I decided closer to the pawns. He doesn't take the pawn. I was kind of thinking he was taking it easy on me or something. I don't know. Well, I mean, if you play knight f7, right, I play knight d4, and I'm going to win this. And that's what my thinking was, that my king is closer to some sort of use over here, maybe supporting b5. So it's too difficult to judge, really. I thought I was losing. The engine says, yeah, a4, you're clearly better. It just takes me too long to get any counterplay. So basically Merle missed his almost winning position there by going kind of conservative, knight c6. And I have time to save the position, like f6. Now I'm not lost. He erred on the side of caution, and this is probably a draw now. Best try, but it's just not enough. I think it's just a draw now. I have protected pass pawn, and it's just strong. Yeah, very strong pawn. So now it's a draw. Good game. I mean, you were nearly winning, and I don't blame you for being hesitant, but it looks like in the light of day, you should have taken the pawn on f7. All right, let's go on to the next game. What's this? Bob's sack. I don't know if we're gonna have time for that, Bob. A little late today. Welcome everybody to the stream. International Master William Paschall with my Canadian imitation. We're not going to do imitations or accents today. Okay, we did Notch Papa, Merle Dixon, Warnacki's up next. Actually, Save a Dog, is he back? Blobix is here. So HTFP is back, right? We can do his game now. He was back. I had a new chapter. Ed Astrakhan. I played with the black pieces. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So this guy's like 1900. Wait a second. Where's the study? Can I find the study? Wait. There it is. Whoops. Ed Asner. Alright, Ed I think is like high 1800s, probably. Because I know like all like Boston area chess players, man. It's Ed Asner. D4, knight f6, c4, b6. So this is Merle. Save a dog against an 1800. The guy probably maxed out in the 1900s, but I thought he wasn't that strong even then. All right, knight c3. So it looks like Save a Dog is playing some sort of accelerated Queen's Indian or whatever. Yeah, that's what it says here. It's kind of a new opening. I mean, this really didn't exist like 15 years ago. At least it didn't have a name. My first, Jim also plays this stuff, and maybe even Blubix. Very popular, but my first noticing of this was when Luc Van Wely lost a game to a relatively unknown quantity. One of his last tournaments in the U.S. before he got kicked out and wasn't allowed to come back or something. He like tried to work a summer camp, and he told them at the border control, like, he was honest. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna work at a camp." They're like, "No, you can't come back in the United States for like 5 years." So Van Wely was telling me this like 2 years ago when we met at a poker tournament in Prague. It was kind of funny. He just was like real honest with the border patrol or whatever, border agents, customs officials. They like banned him from the United States for 5 years. But I think that's probably the last time he played before he got banned, was like losing to this guy. I can't remember his name now. It's some American IM. He is a cool guy. He's a good guy. Bishop b7, f3, and this is like one of the two critical moves. Like, I don't remember what Luke played. Like, was it queen c2 or f3? One of them. So f3. Is he in the Dutch Senate? That's funny. It's like appealing against American immigration policy. D5. C takes d5. Knight takes d5. e4. And this is all known, right? I've actually had this against somebody. So here it looks like Save Dog played e6. I remember this now. I mean, e5 is a move. That's what they all play, like the experts. But it's sort of sharp. Like, I guess bishop c4, is that possible? Can you play that? The sound is low. Is the sound low? I mean, no one else mentioned it, Blubix. Hopefully not. It's just that, you know, your hearing is going. Bob said it's low as well. No idea why my sound should be low. I'll make a note of it. Try to talk louder. I'll try to talk louder for you. So this is kind of a cool line. I thought it was bishop c4, but I guess I'm full of crap. Chernyshek, I lost to him, sadly. And Project, who I didn't lose to. No, they faced each other. I know this guy too. I know everyone. But Kronpachnik is from my Facebook friends. Bishop c4. I thought that was a line. That's so weird. But I guess I'm confusing it with something else. It's weird. Yeah, it has to be I'm confusing this with some other position. Alright, it doesn't make that much sense with bishop c4 with f3. You know, you really need another piece that can attack, like queen f3 or knight g5 or something that can attack f7. Anyway, Save a Dog, like, you should look into e5, because that I thought was the point. It seems like when you play e6, it's more of like a regular Queen's Indian. Like, it's almost like you're playing the black-sided Petrosian variation, where white hasn't played a3. I mean, the whole justification of the black-sided Petrosian would be like the white sort of wasted move a3 in the Queen's Indian. I mean, I guess you could say, hey, you made white play f3, which is sort of a weakening. Right, Blubix, that's what we're trying to debate here. You know, is it better to play e5? E5 is kind of the known move. Well, we have Blubix, we have Save a Dog, and Jim as well. So 3 people. You guys have to meet up and have a meetup about like what the proper way of playing the accelerated Queen's Indian is, I think. Okay, knight h3. Strong center. Yeah, so you just played solidly. Uber Driver, very, very classical in your thinking. I like it, man. I like it. I think white is better. White has d4 pawn. White better. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, but it's just that it's not that easy, you know. Alexander Ivanov plays a mean Queen's Indian. He would get like c5, you know, Queen c5, Queen c8, Rook d8. Try to pressurize your d4 pawn. Maybe trade the bishop off with bishop a6. You know, it's a game. Once I beat Paschall, Paschall plays the black side of Queen's Indian. He needed to beat me for a GM norm, and I killed his GM norm. It was a Trojan Queen's Indian with a structure like this, but it's a different position. This isn't really a Queen's Indian, but it is a typical structure in the semi Tarash and the Queen's Indian Trojan. So bishop c4, knight d7, castle. You know, hope this knight isn't planning on staying on h3 too long, Ed. You know, typically if you play your knight to h3, it needs to rejoin the battle, you know, sooner rather than later. Rook c1. Now, see here, like, save a dog, why? I just don't see, like, the reason for exchanging on d4 here. I feel like black can only benefit, it seems like. I haven't killed that many GM norms. That was one of the ones that I remember. Maybe another one or two, but this mean, isn't it? To like kill someone GM. I mean, I was trying to get GM norms at that point too, so it was kind of like killing someone else's GM norm felt just as good as like trying to get one for myself. But it was like the last round, and he had to beat me, and he lost. Anyways, Savadov, what's the benefit of really exchanging pawns here? I feel like that pawn is a bad pawn. It's just like blocking his rook on c1. It's like the Grunfeld. I mean, you don't really want to make this exchange. It is mean. Yeah, I have faced it myself. It totally wasn't. If you don't like the guy, I mean, you maybe think that. I don't think that at the time I was thinking about it. I joke about it afterwards now. I was just trying to win. I was white, you know. I mean, I don't know, you know, but I don't think I was really thinking about it at the time. But I don't see this benefit here of this exchange. Why do we have to exchange, you know, this pawn? So rook c8, a6, queen c7. I mean, queen c8 is another move. This queen c8 idea is a common one, you know, to play bishop a6. You see here, queen e2 kills that. Guys, Jim especially. Oh, Matulovic paid Taimanov to get his last GM norm. Well, some players like Paschall and Matulovic would have gotten the GM title anyway. So that's the argument. I'm not going to say that I haven't seen a game or two that was suspicious. And by a player who's very strong, who would have made a GM title anyway, you know, but I definitely have seen some fishy looking last norm games. But I don't know for sure. I can only speculate. Let's see. So what are we talking about here? Yeah. We need to. That's analysis. Anyway, see, oh, I wanted to remind you guys about my lesson at 8:15. Bob, what are you talking about? You're talking about the streamers who use computers against me or something? Anyway, no, they just have their like cousins play for them or something. I think they weren't using a computer. I think she just had like her cousin who's like a FIDE master or IM. But I'm not sure. That was a long time ago. Anyway, c takes d4, c takes d4. I don't like this exchange. Knight f6. I don't really like when people who are like 2100 play like 2400s. against me. You know, that's sort of suspicious. Angry Dragon, Angry Dragoon. Subscribe with Twitch Prime. Generally, like, not 2100s don't play like 2400s in most cases. That's why they're 2100. Knight f6 here, knight f4. This is a Save a Dog Black against an 1900. Queen d7. You played very solidly. King h8. I love it. Actually, Ed has a pretty good position here. And I think it has a lot to do with you playing c takes d4 unnecessarily. Releasing the tension there. So King h8 seems like a necessity. That's not really a fortunate thing for black to have to move the king away from the center. There's an outside chance you could go postal with like g5, g4. But I think more likely you're going to get your head handed to you here with knight d3, knight e5, and the knight implanting itself on e5. Someone mentioned rook c8 or rook c4. I mean, Uber Driver always has some interesting suggestions for us. But, I mean, black needs to get the queenside majority moving, you know, typically here. But it's hard to do. It's like a Grunfeld. Like, the central majority is stronger than the queenside majority until the end game. What I've seen with this guy that Save a Dog is playing is that he's not very strong tactically. And, you know, he'll probably, like, miss strong moves and play too routinely in a lot of spots. So even if Save a Dog's worse, he'll probably, like, bail himself out somehow. Okay, knight d3, knight d6, nice maneuver. But, I mean, white is playing this pretty well. And he still has a significant advantage, I think. So white played this well positionally. And now it comes down to, you know, the scenario where, again, in the end game, the queenside majority might be something. But right now, white's center is stronger. It looks like you have f5, though. Holy baloney. I mean, it actually looks like you have this. Wow, dude. Damn, I saw it. I saw it without the... That just man, that is powerful. Wow. You know, his knight is actually leveraging the possibility of this. His knight there actually makes this possible. Otherwise, you could go forward with e5. Or maybe even some sealer sweeper, like d5 and e5. But since your pawn, I mean, his pawn can't go forward here. He's actually making this possible. All right. I understand you missing f5. I mean, it's really almost like crazy looking, but it's so perfect. If f5, what's he going to do? Is he going to take with the pawn, and you're going to take with the knight, you're going to take with the pawn? Very tempting move. Alright, so you just played solidly, but white retains an advantage here. I mean, the good thing about a weaker player like this who's kind of afraid, because I've seen him play before, and he's kind of a scaredy cat style player, you know, he's not going to take any risks, so he's going to miss opportunities, like I said. This looks nasty, though. He gets his rook on the 7. I mean, did you have to allow... Did you have to exchange rooks, by the way? So what happened here? Knight d6, I like this. You missed your chance to play f5, okay. So you exchange rooks. You take, you go here. So, yeah, this looks bad. Let's see what Save a Dog had in mind here, because this looks really bad. He's just all over you. I think that the blame is really squarely on the exchange c takes d4 being played too early. Let's hope that Save a Dog's opponent makes some tactical error. So you managed to, like, escape. Wow. See, here I was expecting you to take with the bishop. No, you don't want to kick him out? of d7? Did you think it was going to get trapped? Are you afraid of knight b8? Or actually, what does that have to do with it? It's a good one. I don't know. I mean, what's really going on here? Why do we take with the knight or the bishop? Like, how do we decide? My intuition is to take with the bishop to get the knight out of there. But anyway, you know, I don't know. I mean, all right, here, this is a very unpleasant game, and now you're like practically okay. Just trading all the pieces helped you. It helped black, you know. The offer drawing accepts. Yeah, I mean, this is very fortunate because you were really in big trouble when he got this rook on the 7th rank, and I just think that the biggest thing was exchanging pawns on d4 prematurely. Can only help white. You know, as you see, the c file ended up like benefiting him much more than it did you. So I think you need to keep the tension there and then find the right moment for. Yeah, this was not a great game, and you did miss that f5, and I'm not sure if you were thinking about it or not, but of course this is a big deal, you know. All right, let's take a moment to get our breath here. We've been talking non-stop. I gotta stop the stream at 8 o'clock. I have a lesson at 8:15, which I don't normally do, like post-stream lessons, just once in a while. Well, HTFP achieved 2,000 USCF for the first time this week. I'm not surprised. I mean, as I was saying earlier in the past months, that you know your like lichess rating is ridiculous, and obviously it's fine if you don't care about that. You know, who cares about your online rating? That's tremendous. So congratulations to HTFP. It's a big deal to reach 2,000. You know, in any rating scale. Excellent job. But I think you deserve it. I mean, you're playing really well. This was a bad game for him, for HTFP. But again, like playing e5 might be the better way to go in the opening there. All right. So moving on, we've got Warnacki. Well, hello there. So I played a very interesting 5+0 with black a week or so ago. I think it shows how I don't really play my opening soundly, especially stuff like Pierce. My first opening, by the way. What I'm actually very satisfied about is how I managed to get my game deciding tactic, the capturing with the queen. For me, I'm different. I don't care like which piece it is. I'm still unsure why SF Stockfish was so adamant about the knight capturing there. Okay, so we'll take a look. It's only 26 moves. I like it when it's short and sweet. Do the messages contribute to the analysis at all? Absolutely. I mean, this can point me to highlight something like he's talking about capture with the queen, Bob. It seems relevant. All right. So e4, d6, Pierce. So you are black here, right? Yeah. So you're making up like a move, like on move 3. I mean, this move is something like question mark, maybe double question mark. I can't believe this guy is Zvonimir Mestrovich actually played this. This is absurd. Brandic, who I know from being a player in the Hungarian Team Championship, he played a lot in Kecskemét. They had endless IM tournaments where Brandic played. And then El Gindi, I just can't believe that like international masters would play this move. It's horrifying. That's crazy. Like, this is just a ridiculous move that like loses a tempo. I mean, even if white played bishop e2, I still like white by a mile. But just this move it's just the tempo, you know. Do not do that again, Warnacki. You might as well. I prefer a5. And Warnacki has this fetish about a5. Now, if you ask me, like a5 is a better move than bishop g4. Uber Driver subscribed to tier 1. They've subscribed for 9 months. Uber Driver 68. Uber Driver, did you have a different Twitch account or something? You've clearly been a subscriber for more than 9 months. Did you switch like Twitch accounts at some point or something? I wasn't sure. All right. So the crab is probably better than bishop g4. Bob says Uber driver is kind of new. I don't think he's new. I mean, he and Merle signed up at the same time. Merle's been around pretty long. Daddy's still young? Are you sure? Seems like Uber driver's been here forever. Yeah, they previously subscribed as Merle Dixon. That's funny. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is not good. I doubt like White's best move is d5. Probably White can just chill and develop his pieces, but I think the bishop g4 move and the bishop e6 move, because Warnacki is, you know, again, he's not well trained in the openings. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier about pieces and pawn coordination. You don't want your pieces in any sort of closed position to be outside the pawn chain. You essentially want the pieces to be inside the pawn chain. The pawns are like a skeleton that protect the pieces from attack. And here you have, you know, Warnacki like basically putting it's like putting your organs outside of your skeleton, you know. I mean, this is obviously like not a healthy thing to do. You don't want to be like walking down the street with like your liver, you know, outside your body or something. I mean, absurd analogy, but you know, you get the point. I mean, this is just dangerous. If it's an open position, things are a little different. So this is very provocative and just bad, I would say. Bishop e6 not as bad as bishop g4. Bishop e3 very very systematic, and then d5. All right, well, you know, I don't mind d5 that much. Clearly, you've already moved your d pawn. It's sort of lost the tempo, but I guess it might be justifying bishop e6 a bit. Still, space with e5 looks strong. And, I mean, we have to consider knight g8. We're playing a Gurgenidze Caro-Kann down a couple tempi probably after knight g8, but I wouldn't mind, like, maybe. We moved the player piano today, and I know that sounds like it's unrelated to what we're talking about here, but when you're moving a large 800-pound object, there is a serious danger involved if the 800-pound object like collapses on top of you. This f pawn moving down here reminds me of said player piano. You know, no, actually we did it with just 3 people, Bob, but we used some, you know, physics and stuff like that. Yeah, the guy from the other clean out told me they would at least need 4 people, but we did it with 3 using math. This piano here with f5 is going to be a very powerful thing if it falls on you. So I think that this knight g8 is not a bad idea, because playing here we have less support of that sort of blockading square against the advancing f pawn. Anita, what's up? But you know, your choice. It looks very hard to hold up f5. He's trying, you know, you're trying, but if it lands, it's even going to be more powerful. With that knight on h6, it would have been really a little extra protection against f5. Yeah, I think here White doesn't make up his mind. You know, it's like, do I want to play f4? Do I want to play queen d2? No. I mean, you want to go with the pawn structure advance here. The player piano is going to just crunch Black's king side. You know, this is just kind of a matter of time until bishop f5, or sorry, f5 is going to happen. And even if White somehow plays it as like a pawn sacrifice or something, it'll have a sort of detrimental effect. So I think queen d2 is like mixing up plans. What's he going to do, like bishop h6 now? I prefer playing with the pawn structure here. You could pull it with an f150, Bob, probably. h6 is ugly. Gosh. I mean, I understand stopping bishop g5, stopping bishop h6, but this is going to strengthen the power of the player piano. So he plays h4. Oh, all right, it's not such a bad move. We might get a nice setup here, like the last game where we played knight f4. That's an alternative. Now we're blocking our c pawn. No, if I was Warnaki's coach and I was teaching him lessons like privately, I would say that he needs to concentrate on coordination of and understanding like pawn play, because at this point and it also has pieces in the pawns. He's blocking his c pawn from influencing the center. You can't play with just the pawns. I mean, you need to use pawns and pieces coordinated together. So a3, queen d7. Good idea if you play. This is a good-looking move, actually, g4. The computer doesn't like it, but it takes away this bishop f5 exchange, so it looks very logical. And castles queenside. Okay, a6, weakening the king side slightly to control b5, king b2. It's actually a pretty good game by both sides. And then this, yeah, this is coming in. I mean, this is a serious problem. But okay, you know, if he takes your bishop on e6, hey, no problem. This is interesting, but we're just dropping a pawn, right? Yeah. So he just takes and takes on g6. It's just a simple mistake. You see, most mistakes are created by a sort of degree of panic. Like, I think that most cases Warnaki would realize he was hanging a pawn here, but we start to see a mirage in the desert, and we get desperate, and he's just like, I gotta do something, the guy's gonna crush me. So he plays f6, but no, we can't play f6. Queen e8, maybe. It's ugly, but, I mean, if we have to, we'll retreat this back. Queen e8 would protect the g6 pawn. Possibly allow us to play f6 if necessary, but it's kind of like when Asterbay played c6 in his game. I mean, there's a case for this diagonal to try to break that open, and maybe you can attack the white king. But in general, playing f6 is kind of like putting your head in the oven. You know, I mean, you're attacking white at his strong point in this position. Generally not a good idea. So f6, knight f4, bishop f, yeah. So he just wins a pawn either way. Actually, this isn't so clear because now you get this pawn. So he didn't do this the right way. And that's funny. He just missed e6 or something. So I was expecting take, and something like maybe bishop takes b6. We gotta watch this pawn. That's why he doesn't have bishop d4 here. Actually, that's very annoying that you're threatening knight takes f3, as well as, you know, in d4 in some lines. So let's say this. Anytime you get opposite colored bishop situations, it becomes very sharp. And it looks like in this case, the king isn't really that safe for white. So let's see what he does. See, this is a blunder. I mean, he just blundered. Bishop f5, and he just missed it. And what's the time situation here? 253 against 230. But I mean, you shouldn't miss e6. I mean, this is a great move anyway. You're strengthening your center. All right. So here, and obviously, it's great to have the queen in this diagonal, but the queen is also exposed in the middle of the board. Yeah. Okay. No. This is not good. I mean, bishop d4. Okay, happily take that. Opposite colored bishops, bishop g7. Now it's all good. However, it doesn't seem to be a forced win. I mean, I like black here. I think he stands a little bit better. But you really should have played e6 when you had the chance, and the bishops become really annoying. There doesn't seem to be any sort of tactic for black. The knight is misplaced on b6. He's got this majority over here, which looks like potentially strong. I don't get it. I mean, I just don't see a way for black to win necessarily. And I like the long diagonal, but It's not enough. C6 is solid. You know, it's solid. E5, solid. The bishop is so strong on F5 though. It's just a lifesaver. So he just blundered a rook. Alright, so in the event of let's say in the event of a safe move, king b1. I would say white's like slightly worse, but it's not serious. He's probably gonna hold a draw. It's not like it's a forced draw, but the draw likelihood is fairly high because opposite color bishops. He just blundered a rook to check. So it's an interesting game. I mean, a lot to look at, but the opening was horrendous. Alright. Thanks for the submission, guys. We're streaming till 8 o'clock. Got another hour left. Going over game analysis here on the stream. If you'd like to submit a game, it's too late. We already have enough. Alright, man. I am just, men and women, I am just tired. I had a really, really crazy week, and I cleaned out my house. That's why the player piano analogies are coming up. I was really concerned we got it out the house without someone getting hurt, you know, and we did. All right, so we got an hour left. We're gonna do good 40% or Uber Driver. Uber Driver's up next. That's the old one. Where am I? Wait, is this right? I'm out of my mind here. Okay, no, we're still not caught up. We had Warnacki, and we got Mule Skinner next. A decent game that I played today. Today, against 2150 here on lichess. The Tank Troll 25. Warnacki, thanks for the donation. Warnacki's our chip leader for the week. Warnacki with 400 bits. Jim is second. Merle third. HTFP with 5. Thank you, guys. So this is Mule Skinner, who's tough. Mule Skinner has talent. Unfortunately, he probably doesn't play enough to, like, say, raise his rating significantly or something like that. I have the feeling he has to work for a living. There's always a very limiting. Mule Skinner, the best thing is to marry a wealthy woman with a really good job. If you want to be a professional chess player, I never succeeded at that, but some American grandmasters, some successful American grandmasters have used that strategy. E4, E5, knight f3, D6. Behind every successful American, well, every successful American chess player is a well-employed woman. Anyway, E4, E5, knight f3, D6. What are we doing, guys? The Weed Master's here. He's outside chilling, smoking out in the patio, scaring off all my buyers. It's at least it's legal, but all right. E4, E5, knight f3, D6, D4, E takes D4. We are white here, right? The overbearing mother. In Kamsky's case, it was the opposite. Polgar's sister's case, it was the opposite. I mean, we've seen overbearing fathers a lot in the chess world, right? E takes D4, knight takes D4. I don't know too many overbearing mothers. I remember Tivyakov. I think it's amusing. Tivyakov was like, you know, middle 20-something, you know, well into his 20s adult. When I remember he had to play my friend Alexei Dreyev in the last round of this tournament in Spain. And Dreyev and I stayed out till like 5 in the morning the night before the last round, drinking and having fun of various sorts. And when we came, I was thinking when we came home at 5 o'clock in the morning, Alexei had to play Tivyakov in the last round for first place in the tournament. And I was thinking how it was funny because like Tivyakov had like been at the tournament hanging out with his mom the whole time, while like Dreyev and I were like out drinking until 5 in the morning. And Alexei had to play him with black in the last round. And it was just, he was such a good mama's boy, and he was so well behaved, you know. But Dreyev like smashed him in 20 some moves with black and a Karo Khan. I mean, it was just amazing, you know. I mean, the good thing about the rounds, and Mule Skinner will know this, but the good thing about the rounds in the Spanish tournaments typically, I mean, I don't know if they still do that, but we could get away with staying out till 5 in the morning because the round was at like, the rounds were like literally at 3 o'clock, one a day at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you could have a really bad hangover and still, you could still survive and, talking like a Canadian again, you could still survive and be able to play. My biggest challenge was like getting to the board. Like, I could play, but the hardest thing was like with the hangover, I could get to the board or not. Like once I got there, I was all right. For me, I found very, very hard to get to the board itself the next day. Anyway, that's my Tivyakov story. So his mom like was watching there, you know, as if her well-behaved boy was mowed down. It's shorter. It's hard to lose to the Caro-Kann in 20-some moves. Anyway, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, bishop e7, bishop d3. So, you know, this is getting popular at all levels. My teammate Zoltan Varga plays the black side of the Philidor. I mean, I don't know how people do it. You know, it's just so hard to play the Philidor, but Misipianu was the first one, then Mamajarov, and you know, so this like exchange Philidor has become almost like a real thing. But from White's perspective, I really don't know what the best setup is, but I've never seen anyone play bishop d3. This is a kind of weird move. I mean, in a way, because you're like blocking your queen, and the bishop itself is blocked by pawns on e4 and c2. So, you know, if you were to look at the Sicilian Najdorf or something like that, the same thing, like bishop d3 against the Najdorf, it's not a real variation. Because the bishop is just kind of lame, you know, on d3. So anyway, there's lots of interesting lines here. Bishop c4 is a move, obviously, kind of Yugoslav attack style. Bishop e2. This is a main line. Bishop e2, castles kingside, f4 followed by bishop f3. There's bishop f4, which is a cool move. When I used to think that was weird, but you know, when you think about it after a while, bishop f4 is pretty cool. Sort of stops c5. It just kind of keeps pressure on the position without really doing anything concrete. And then there's stuff like g3, you know, h3, g3. You could probably do different stuff like that. So this is weird. I mean, I've never seen anyone do this. So there's two Gashimov games, Grandelia. So there's a number of games. I don't really know what the idea is, you know, but there may be something to it. Nobody's ever played bishop d7. And I don't really understand what bishop d7 does. I mean, is it just... I really don't get it. You know, like bishop d7, what's the idea? To play knight c6 and take with the bishop or something? I'm not sure that white really wants to exchange pieces there, I mean, on c6 anyway. You know, look, like 3 draws. It's actually a good move, knight c6, ironically. So I don't get this. I mean, okay. a6. Well, I don't know. I mean, what's the plan for black here? a6, bishop d7. Is he going to play c5, I assume? He doesn't play c5, and now I think we're in a situation where it reminds me a lot of some Sicilians where, you know, you have more space. You have to look at forcing moves, but I think you also have to consider, with the spatial advantage that white has here, you generally don't want to trade pieces. You know, so I think this is probably the most principled move, knight f3. And as you can see, his opponent played bishop g4. That's still trading pieces, but as I've said like many, many times on stream, it seems like in e4, e5 openings, which this is, bishop g4 is almost always bad for black. It's an important piece. When you have e4, e5 for black, you typically play with dark square pawns. You know, here he's traded off his strong point on d4. But usually the pawns are dark square based, so you end up with a good bishop that's on the white squares, and typically you don't want to trade off your good bishop. So he's going to end up trading off his good bishop and having just the remaining bishop on e7, see? Here, I don't know that h3 is the best move or the only move. Mule Skinner plays the Grand Prix attack, so he's very familiar with the idea of playing queen e1, probably. Although that's not as effective as it is against a fianchetto type setup. Mule Skinner, you should play the. You know what just occurred to me? If you ever stop playing the Grand Prix attack, you should play the F4 Najdorf because it's very similar to the setup. Queen F3 and now Knight B4. Yeah, you see this in the Skaveninga and Najdorf. This isn't gonna save black, you know. Even if he gets the bishop, who cares? That's fine. You know, we'll just recapture with the pawn, and it's black's bishop. Nice bishop you got there. Hey, nice bishop. Wanna go fishing? Let's hunt some moose. No, I mean this bishop is ridiculous. Like it's horrible. So I'm just joking. Bishop D2, Knight D3, CD3, C6. I'm trying to practice my Canadian accent, but I'm terrible at it. You can only get better by practicing. So C6, E5. It's just a blunder. I'm a blender. Mule Skinner pulls the trigger on E5. What about DE5, FE5, Queen D4 check? Is this not a problem? You're gonna play like Queen E3 and have a central advantage of some kind? This looks like a blunder. So he goes here. I mean, can you sack a pawn or something? Wow. Just sack the pawn for castle, sorry, King H1, Queen E5, Rook E1. Queen C7, Bishop F4, Queen E7, Queen E2. Maybe you could just sack a pawn? Wow. Is this for reals? Because this is nothing. This is like, thanks Mr. Coffee for the, he likes my Canadian accent. This is nothing. This is a joke, you know, Queen E3. You gotta just sack a pawn. Sack a pawn to here. So this is what I was wondering about. How bad is this for black? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what the engine says. The Oracle. Give me an answer. +1. Black is still on life support here. There is still life support. But it's a way to play. Alright. It was a gutsy maneuver. So he didn't pull the trigger. He just chickened out with 97. The greedy boss. Well, we could play D4. I like it. Or we can look for something tactical, like pawn takes pawn, rook check. I think this is strong. We don't see any message. We don't see messages from Neftov. They do not show up. Just kidding. What's up? Neftov, one of our longtime supporters and friends here. Good to see you. I know it's late. If I can sell my house, I'm going to get back to European time. I've got some people, a couple people who might be interested. I'm going to put it on the market on Monday. So we'll see. I might get back to Europe, you know, it depends though. It depends. We're going to see. I'll be streaming from European times. But anyways, we'll see. I'm not going to get my hopes up. So he doesn't do that though. He just tries to open it up and check, you know. And here black obviously could play King F8. Excuse me, Bishop E7. I mean, that would be the normal thing to do. Except, okay, he has to calculate Rook takes E7. Probably that doesn't work. Rook E7, King E7, Rook E1, check King F8. So Bishop E7. Now you have to pin him with a queen move. You know, I'm not sure about this. Wow. Engine likes it, like, really likes it. Queen E3. Mikey likes it. You have compensation, okay, but is it really enough? You know, it's hard to tell. Hard for black to coordinate. This looks like something Tivia, speaking of Tiviakov, this is like what Tiviakov would get in like a Queen D6 Scandinavian or something. King on F8, pawn up, but It looks kind of frightening. We'll have to play h5 or something. Anyway, he goes king f8 right away. Looks like he might as well. Knight e4, knight f6. Interesting decision by black. He's not afraid to give up that bishop. Can't blame him. Arsenal is missing. No, he's got a team game. So he's not really missing. We know where he is. He assured me. Exclam Neff. He has his own command. Nefedov has so many games against me on the stream that we should have that. That should be the rule. Like, actually, Mr. Coffee, it's a cool idea. Whoever has the most games against me of all time on the stream should have their own command. You know, like Nefedov, does he still have the record? He hasn't been on the stream much. I think Mr. Coffee, we have to check it out. Like, Nefedov might have slipped on this all-time game standings. Rook e2, knight d5. Look at that beautiful knight. My God. I mean, all white's pieces are in the game, but it looks like, you know, do we have enough here? f5. The pawns are on white squares. The bishop's on dark. I like that. And he's lusting for f6. Ooh, that could be nasty.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Scared me, my God. Again. Alexa, turn yourself off. I wonder if that works. So, this is close. Bishop e5. And Milskinner just sacks a pawn with that. Wow. Okay. Well, that bishop's unprotected, you know. But there's a check on d4, so that's going to be a problem. If only Milskinner had his king on h1. Muleskinner. I don't know, Muleskinner, you're going to have to, like, I think because of environmental reasons and, you know, animal welfare, supporters are going to have to ask you to change your screen name. I'm sorry. I've been asked by animal rights supporters to change your screen name. The Mule Protection Agency sent me a letter. f6. Have it your way. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical of this. You know, it looks like kind of speculation. I think there's a lot more evidence to support Donald Trump's impeachment than to support White's compensation for this pawn. It's a little bit dubious, but maybe we have something here. Vague. The evidence is vague. What does the engine think? It just looks vague. Still, it's 0.8. It's still hanging in there. I would think you would check on d4 and then play like knight takes f6. I don't get it. Wow, this isn't enough. So you really have compensation here. I don't believe it. Bishop g5. So much pressure. Amazing. You still have compensation. Probably bishop d4 check is a mistake for some reason. What if you just take right away, actually? You save a tempo. I guess this loses a tempo. It also blocks the queen. Bob, we needed that. Like, you can turn anything into male reproductive. Time him out. You haven't played a game? Nefedov said what? I haven't played against me for 3 months. Still have more than 200. I was just kidding, Mr. Coffee. You can take him off timeout. I was just kidding. Mr. Coffee's merciless. Well, you at your discretion. You can let him out. I mean, I was just kind of kidding. Alright, king h1. Let him out. I mean, it was just a joke. If he's really bad, if you thought he was really bad, then keep it in place. But I was just kidding. But you know, he's bad. He's bad a lot. King h1. What's going on here? We're just missing the boat. Rook e6. Mule Skinner, this is crazy, man. Oof. King g8. Nice move. Good square. I like it. Oh, no. Whoops. Oh, God. I didn't even see that coming. I mean, who could take this pawn? Like, seriously. Who in their right mind? I didn't even see the tactic. Like, it matters. I mean, I just know intuitively, like, you don't take pawns like that. It doesn't matter if you calculate or not. Like, you're in a defensive mode where you, like, took a pawn and now it's like guerrilla warfare. You're just trying to survive. You take the pawn, you hide in the jungle, and, you know, sort of hunker down for a while, wait to come out, attack again. But he's just, like, taking this pawn on b2, you know? That's stupid. I mean, of course he loses a piece here. Just asking for it. Whoops, bye-bye. I can understand if black was giving a simul or something. That's like something I would do. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, taking a pawn on b2. When you're already up a pawn, why are you trying to grab a poison pawn? So Mule Skinner just mops up. You know, it's pretty easy. The mop up. Mop up in aisle 5. There's the new robot that I told you guys about at the supermarket. It has like googly eyes. Mop up in aisle 5. No, this is just over. Okay, so Mule is not messing this up. 4 pawns against 1 in a rook endgame. Tough to technique this out. Very sloppy. That's fine. Whatever. Everything's winning. It's just over. Just over. So it took him a long time to win, though. This guy would not resign. It's pathetic. All right, that's enough. Next game. So thank you, Mule Skinner. It was interesting, speculative pawn sack. Looks like you had enough pretty much all the way. But bishop d3 against the Philidor, new to me. Okay, so we're going to get as many games as we can in. But, you know, I can't promise. We're on to the next page. Uber driver. Hopefully it's quick and painless. Quick and relatively painless. Is this the right game? Cal's Gambit against Grand Prix attack. It's standard, man. It's just standard. I lost against this guy, Moss from Malaysia, one time. With white pieces. I lost against this crap, but I underestimated. I mean, the truth is that this gambit is pretty good for black, but it doesn't win itself, you know, and somehow, I don't remember how it happened, but I did manage to lose. I managed to lose with the black pieces. The guy was like 2380 or something. I mean, he was a good player, but nobody plays this with white anymore. There was a Hungarian IM, Abarth Khan Abarth, who kept playing the Grand Prix attack, but he doesn't care. He just knows it's bad and plays it anyway. E4, C5, F4, D5, E takes D5. You know, the Hepton dubbed this the toilet variation because he thought of it in the toilet. You know, I mean, it's probably better than taking on D5 objectively. E takes D4, Knight F6. Nothing new here, you know. I don't remember my game with Moss if he like checked first and then played C4 or it's hard to say. I don't even know what the books say. I mean, a lot of people like kind of think that this is better because you naturally like trade your white square bishop and then play C4, getting outside the pawn chain. But in either case, black should have enough compensation. So C4, E6 takes. So this position you could take with the bishop. I would think you could take with the pawn too, but I would assume that like bishop takes is better. There's a Kasparov game. I mean, clearly that's from a simul. Simul. It's from a simul. Nefedov would say it in a cool way. Nefedov has this cool sort of Eastern European mix with English. British. He has a British Eastern European accent. It sounds kind of cool. He would say it would be funny. But bishop takes e6. Yeah, this is just great. You know, I love this stuff. The queen e7, okay. Unnecessary fanciness. Queen e7. It basically, by the way, guys, Uber driver, do you play the Scandinavian, the Portuguese gambit or something? Like that looks like you're bowling. It's almost like a Portuguese gambit move. You know, Queen E7 here, threatening lines. The bishop takes C4. It's just unnecessary. Like all you need to do is just develop your pieces to like natural squares. One thing that you need to know if you play the black side of this position, don't panic. Like you're always going to have compensation. Really, you don't need to win a pawn back or do anything like ultra violent. Like I'm back to Europe in November. I don't know, Pavel. Like if you'd like to buy my house, I can be. So make me an offer, and I'll be back in time. You know, you can send me a private message if you're interested in buying my house. But I am entertaining offers, and I'm not going to go to the real estate agent until Monday. So if you want to save $20,000, talk to me before Monday. But seriously, all you have to do is D4, control D4, and as long as we have control of D4, as long as we're dominating D4 and we're not trading too many pieces, white is never really going to be a pawn up. You know, at best it'll be like equal. But yeah, no, F4 doesn't help really because it kind of weakens white's position even more, and it gets in the way of the bishop at C1. So I'm sorry you're not interested. You know, you'd make a great neighbor, Pavel. Maybe you get a job here. You know, it's a great second home though. Get a job in Boston and buy a second home here. So Queen E7, no, unnecessary. Theoretical novelty. It's British to apologize for no reason. Yeah, well, we have some American habits too. 95, 97. This is awkward for Uber driver. It still looks good though. You know, it's like, it still looks good. It's funny. Uber driver, I think you should start playing the Portuguese Scandinavian or something like that. That would definitely be up your alley. Bishop E2, 95. Okay, this looks kind of ripe. So, I don't really trust white's position here. It's looking like Queen H4 check might be on the menu. He didn't do it, but I mean, how strong is this, for example? The idea of this. Guys, we only have half an hour left, and I've got to go. We're going to do as many games as we can. I would have been hard for me to not play Queen H4 check, like Queen H4 check, Queen E4, but I could see how it would go, like Queen H4 check, G3, Queen E4, Rook F1, and if you don't have a good move there, I mean, I still think it's good. Still think this is good. You know, you're winning the pawn back at your leisure. At your leisure. Pleasure at your leisure. I want to hear Nefedov say leisure. I love the British accent. But anyway. Yeah, that's an alternative. So this is more business-like. He's so confident he doesn't even need to take away his castling rights or whatever. Here, it's not really taking away his castling right. Hello? What are you doing over there? How's it going on B5? What about the rest of your pieces, dude? Can you move the rest of your pieces? How are they doing over there? The queen on B5 seems kind of lonely. Maybe your queen should join a dating site. How does the white queen, you know, it's just kind of lonely. Castles. I think she needs a date. She's lonely. B5. Queen B7. Bishop E5. Again, now the D4 square is under control. Positionally, everything is good. I'm not counting material. We're still down a pawn here. The queen. Back with her buddies at F3. But again, the queen side is frozen. So you're playing with 3-piece odds now with white. Lonely white queens. Alright. I don't know. Better than the lonely white bishops. That's a frightening thought. Anyway, queen h4, h3. Uber driver, what's with the materialism? What's driving you, Uber? Uber driver driven by materialism. I just want to get him, you know? It's hard to get these rooks in the game, though. Can we play like knight b8, knight c6, and knight d4 somehow? Let's make the knight match now. You got like bishop back, knight e5 probably. Get the rook in the game along with d5. I would think like this. We're just all over white here. There's got to be a lot of good stuff. So this is greedy. Greedy, greedy. Also trading pieces kind of helps white. It looks like you're still clearly better because he's still behind in development and you still have the safer king. At the end of the day, the white king is more exposed. You have better development and good control of the center. So all fundamentals still favor black, but it was a little greedy. What's up with this bishop d4 check? Just to free the e5 square, I assume. We don't want to trade queens, that's for sure. Yeah, white kind of screwed up there. I mean, queen e2 was much better. Queen e2 would have messed with us. Now it's looking good. You like that Reshevsky queen. Uber Driver's a big Reshevsky fan. Sammy had a dragon where his queen was on a6, really nice, I remember. This is a great diagonal. It also has lateral mobility. Practice, I practice with Dr. Seuss books, like speaking, basically. Queen and mobility, willity. That's a Dr. Seuss one. Rook a e8, rook b1. He's just trying to frontally invade with a rook here on f5. I mean, all your pieces are in the game, dude. This looks sweet. It's a nice game. Let's get the last piece in the game, except he's stopping rook e8 now. That was sweet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're gonna lose a queen. There's the knight f2, and there's the double check. No double check. This is mate in 5. Wow. Okay, anyway, that was entertaining, but you know, it's like suicide to play this type of line with white. Nobody plays it. Nobody allows this gambit. You know, it's just not. It's not fun. No one in the right mind allows this line with the white pieces. So interesting interpretation there with Queen E7 from Uber Driver, but I don't think it's necessary. I think probably more straightforward ways to play. It was cool. Okay, guys, we have 30 minutes left. I'm gonna get to a couple more games here. So we got through Uber Driver, good 40%. Can't believe it's the 26th of September already. French Defense Advanced variation. First match. Oh, it's an actual match run over the board. Opponent did not manage that and ran out of time at move 31. Nice. So at least our stream is helping. Alright. So this is good 40%, right? Another French defense, advanced variation. I think it's hard to play the advanced variation. It's like space, but you have to be patient. I don't really love closed positions, I have to say. That's why the French defense frustrates me. Like if I play e4, but if I know my opponent's going to play the French, I'm much less likely to play e4. I like to play e4. I like to play against certain openings when I play e4. French is not one of them. The few Frenches that I've played are like specifically against people who I really didn't know what they played, and I just felt like playing e4 and they happened to play the French. But if I know my opponent plays the French, I don't really enjoy playing against it. Knight c6, knight f3, queen b6. Okay, bishop b2. This is like the main line. Bishop d7, castle, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight e7. You know, I kind of like knight h6. There are ways to play that in different move orders, though. Here. So this is like a main line. The problem with exchanging on d4, as you guys have watched my stream before, is that you do give white the c3 square for his knight. That's the downside. One of the biggest handicaps, I think, of the c3 move and the advanced variation for white is the fact that you can't put your knight on its ideal square on c3. So now you see his defense hinges on this. Wait a second. Just occurred to me, like, didn't you submit a game in this variation last time where you played queen d2 last week? Some ridiculous move, queen d2. But this is not the same opponent, I assume. That was like an online game? Or what? How was it? I mean, this is just good, you know, good stuff. What did black do wrong? Mr. Coffee plays the French too. Yeah, I like knight h6 right away. Their white can play d takes c. I mean, let's see. C takes d4. So what about knight h6 here? Same thing transposes. It's Alexei Shirov against Korchnoi Viktor. I say everything like Hungarians. Knight c3. We say the last name first and the first name last. Knight g6. And so you're following John Shaw. I lost to John Shaw right about that time in the late 90s. Mid to late 90s. Sadly. The grade is 120. So let's see. Knight g6 is lame, dude. Why is he putting his knight on g6? That's a ridiculous move. The whole point is to play knight f5 and attack d4. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? This is a terrible square for your knight. I know it's not you. I'm just talking like he was here. This is just, you know, it's a shame you castled because otherwise you could just play h4, h5 and blow him away. You know, so it's like a good friend of mine, Joel Benjamin, who's like an expert on the white side of the advanced French, you know, he's kind of reticent. He likes to not castle early. If you don't castle too early, you know, you could possibly like meet a check on b4 with king f1 and play h4, h5. So I don't know. Though I don't know what other waiting move there is here, actually. There is no good waiting move. I mean, knight a3. You could technically play knight a3. cd4, cd4, bishop b4, check, and like king f1. I've seen Joel do this similar stuff with white. This is interesting, you know. That reserves the right to use the h-pawn aggressively and then like manually put your king on g2. I think it's a cool system. There's a Smades game from 2007. Anyway. Alright. So, here we are. Knight on the wrong square. Now knight a4. I'm not even sure if we need to play knight a4, honestly. I guess you chase them away from your b2 pawn. It's raining. Uh-oh. Anything outside that I didn't want to be outside? I don't believe so. We sold or gave away everything. Guys, I gave away like probably $5,000 in stuff. Probably more. Or threw it away. Queen c7. Bishop e3. Bishop e7. Rook c1. Castles a3. Yeah, I mean this looks like perfect for white. Only thing is, like, he does have f6. Joe's allowed back in the house. I'm sure I heard something. I think he came back inside. Sadly, his hangout spot outside is kind of not fun when it's raining. I don't think it's gonna rain for long though. This is a great game. Well played. Perfect execution. He's still following Shaw versus Mr. X. Queen d8. I think John Shaw was a little underrated there in 1997. He got to, is he a GM now? If he's not a GM, he was a very, very strong IM. But I lost to him, so he must be good. Knight c5. Yeah, this is just a disaster. Mr. Coffee knows a bad advanced French when he sees one. Merle as well. This is much better than the other. Queen d2. Now it's okay to play queen d2. The Shah's been the GM. So he went from 2345, to GM in 10 years, less than 10 years. Well, he was clearly better than like 2045. I mean, I'm like 2045 now, but probably not if I could fully concentrate on playing. I would get back over 2400 if I could concentrate. Let's see, Rook C3, A6, Rook FC1. This is a great game, dude. You just did everything right. It's still only a slight advantage though. So yeah, we don't have H4. I mean, this is really interesting. Bishop G5 with the idea of H4, H5. Inducing F6 is a cool idea. Yeah. This instructive game, well played. Very well played. Wow. Man, this guy must have just wanted to like go home and cry after this game. I mean, he never had a chance. Yeah, this is just devastating. Is this rushing it with H5, or are you just gonna play H6? Momentarily I'd be like, oh, what if I close it up too much? It's just over. Bishop F6, Knight G5. Jeez. This, oh my god. It's like Knight G5 and H7 check. Oh no. No. It's like Nimzovich versus Mr. X and NN. It's a Nimzovich Simul game. Oh my god. This is horrible. But I mean, Wasero, you can't have peak 2435 if you're a GM. The guy had to get over 2500 somehow. I got to 20. Bob thinks my peak rating was 2440 or something, but I was more like 2470. A lot of times you can't see the accurate FIDE ratings website, or the FIDE website sucks, so you can't actually see accurately like people's peak ratings. Everything that FIDE does is a disaster. Their rating, lists or whatever don't really truly reflect like the highest rating that people got. Like clearly Shaw had to have reached 2500, unless he got the title for winning the African Senior Championship or something. I mean, I peaked at 2360. Nah, doesn't matter. I didn't get GM norms, so it doesn't matter if I was 2470. This is just devastating. I can't even watch. It's like, cover your eyes. This is horrible. So you resign now. It's kind of a weird moment to resign, but whatever. Okay, great game. We have time for another one. Let's take a look. But there was really nothing to see there. I mean, this was just a great demonstration by by a good 40%. It wasn't really a competitive game. I think that he didn't know what he was doing, honestly. Like Knight G6. Nobody like 2000 or above would play Knight G6. I think that's against the whole. No, I mean, I made this joke because, Warnaki, a lot of FIDE like titles, they have like zonals where people play, and I chose Africa because there's like an Africa zone and there's other like Oceanic zone. There are people who got titles who have never been like over, I don't know, the rating requirement. There are exceptions. So I don't know if there is, I don't know what the rule is, but like if you win the African zonal tournament or something like that, like you can become a GM, I think. Even if you haven't been over 2500, there are these weird exceptions. So the most common thing would be Africa, because like other countries generally have really high rated players. But you could win the African zonal and only be like 2300, I guess, and could become like a GM automatically or something. I don't know if they've changed the rules, but there are certain weird exceptions. That's my joke. All right, so Bob Sock is playing Anonymous versus Anonymous. What is this? What is this? No, it's not racist. It's just like regional. Do you think the PC in the 90s would have been better than FIDE for chess? Had it actually got self-sustaining? Mr. Coffee, going back in time. I mean, I think all organizations are corrupt, fundamentally, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, FIDE was always corrupt, like with Campomanes, and it seems like it's been, it's yeah. Maybe the PCA would have been better to get it away from the various dictators who later took it over. It was corrupt under Campomanes. It was corrupt later with Luzhinov. Anything getting it away from that corruption would have probably been better. Yeah. All right. Starting over again from scratch hopefully would reduce the corruption. Again, I don't understand why FIDE's having Panti Manzis knockout tournaments. Yeah. All right, Bob. What is this game? What is this game we're looking at? It's a Bayonet King's Indian. Bob randomly selects games. We're just going to go over a random game that we don't know who played it. Castles, knight c6, d5, knight e7, d4. This is old school. What is this, one of my games? My best game in the... This is Paschall versus Kryman, New York Open, 1993. Where I killed Boris. He's such a good guy. He was my first under the table kicker. But he was too young and I couldn't punch him. He was too young. They're always too young to punch him in the face. That's the problem. Bob's like, I figured it out. Well, this is my old line, This is very popular in the late 80s, early 90s. This was the original bayonet attack. I think like Taimanov was the first one. Knight h5, c5. I played this a lot, and it was fun. But it's just not quite as good as the modern... Ivan Sokolov was like the first one to start playing Rook e1, I think. There's also Luke Van Welly's favorite, which is g3. Luke did really well with g3 for years, but I don't even play this stuff anymore because it just requires too much nerves and stress and knowledge. That's why I play knight f3 on move 1. Weedmaster knows a little bit about this. Probably playing the black side more. I don't think that Joe played the Grand Prix, the Bayonet so much. Joe is like our friend who's staying with me. Joe's played knight e1 a lot. He goes Korchnoi. That I didn't have the nerves to play that. Joe beat me with knight d2 once. But he's tried everything. I like d4. So this is my game against Boris Kryman, I guess, from New York Open 92, 93, whenever. This is a great wipeout. c5, h6, queen b3, knight f4, bishop f4. It's not even in the database, it looks like. Rook c1, g5, h3. So it looks like no big deal. Like Kryman's okay here, right? Knight g6, knight b5, here, knight h2. And it's been forever since I looked at this. This was awkward. It's a little awkward. I got pushed back, but then he didn't know what to do. Plays g4, he sacks a pawn. And it just like doesn't work. He's like, hey, look, my queen. Hey, wait a minute. So suddenly, like, Kryman just sacked the pawn and he's got nothing for it, and then all of a sudden it's like Victor Korchnoi was playing white. Korchnoi was famous for like crushing the King's Indian. What does he do here? I guess this is the game. Am I right, Bob? And 93. And I'm just starting to trade queens. And I just reposition now. That's kind of brutal. I'm threatening rook f4. And then queen f5. Just keep threatening to trade queens. It looks like this was a blunder. I had knight e4 here. You know what, though? I don't trust this game score, Bob. I have no way to verify this. Somebody had to take my score sheet or Kryman's score sheet and like transcribe it. And sadly, in those days they didn't use like digital boards. It was 93, even on the top board. So There's no way that we can guarantee that this was the right, this has been transcribed correctly. Looks like I made a bad move here, though I was probably in time pressure. But we both made like a number of mistakes, but I think it's pretty dominating. This was very satisfying. Had the four white square pieces, Hello, welcome to the white squares. How are you doing? That's the King's Indian, He's playing the black side of the King's Indian. He's supposed to attack me on the King side. Good luck with that. Whoops. So here I didn't play Rook C8, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. That's pretty obvious. This is good enough, though. I remember this now, vaguely. And, oof, it's just ugly. He gave it the college try. And that's funny. And then check, and that's it. Getting mated. One of my better early games from 1993. I still have 48 cent upon loss if it's transcribed correctly. But the King's Indian's hard to play. Thanks, Bob, for sharing. All right, we've got, was that the last one? That was the last one. We're just in time. Do we miss anybody? Just want to make sure, because I'm not tired enough. I've been up since early this morning. I think we got all the games, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up. I've got a lesson at 8:15 anyway, so we'll quit a little bit early. We didn't miss any submissions, right? I don't want to take more, but analyze your correspondence game with Jim. What about my correspondence game with Jim? That's not right. I can't do that, dude. You can't analyze your game. Why did Jim resign? Did he offer and accept his own draw or something? No, it's incorrect. We can't do analyzing games, even if it's unrated. I don't remember. No, I think I made a move. I just made a move before the stream against Jim. Okay, guys, we're gonna close it down. I've got a lesson in 20 minutes, so I'm kind of tired. We're gonna end it today. Thanks, Bob, for your submission. It was good to see that again for all these years. 25 years ago. Plus, unbelievable. I had a good tournament that tournament, but I lost against Tibor Tolnai in this game where, ironically, a Hungarian who I know who's a pro poker player. Little did I know Tibor Tolnai would be a chess teammate of mine 25 years later. But I lost against Tolnai. He sacked a rook. I was black. He sacked a rook brilliantly. We were both in mutual time pressure. It was a 30-move time control, and then he missed the continuation. He messed it up. He was lost, and then I sacked back a piece for perpetual instead of playing the winning move. But there was no perpetual, and I lost. And like Tibor was like almost visibly laughing because it was like so ridiculous. Like first he was lost, then I like sacked back for this perpetual that's not there, and I have to resign. That was a game that broke my heart in that term. Otherwise, it was a really good New York Open for me. Anyway, we will be back tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time here. We'll see you guys later, and hopefully Bob brings back some more 25-year-old games for your perusal next week. Anyway, guys, it was fun. Thanks, Mr. Coffer, for being our moderator. And I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye from myself and the panda. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for watching.